All right, well, hello everybody, and welcome to our weekly stream. The first beta is alive and kicking. Um, so far, it's gone pretty well. We had a little hiccup in the beginning, but it wasn't something that was too difficult to fix and get everybody on their way. Other than that, everything's been running pretty great. I think people have been having a good time with it. Uh, you know, not too many issues, which is what we were going for. So I think that starting the beta this week was a good idea, and let's move forward and we can start moving into, second beta things and fixing up alliances and starting temples. And I think we're almost done with the temple graphic. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
You people are so optimistic. That's one temple graphic out of one level. There's 10 levels. There's 8 temples.
yeah, but
80 graphics.
you only need a
Yeah,
base template.
we've gotten one.
And once you get a base template, then you can work off that base template, and the rest of them are great.
Have you been saying something?
Hmm?
Yeah, I think there might have been some Prozac slipped into your coffee this morning.
No, I'm the world's most optimistic person.
Okay then.
But we do have the first one down, so that's good. Yay.
Yeah, and it just takes
Yes.
the first one, and then we can start, getting
From
the
there.
rest of them kind of put in and, programming to them, and second beta, then third, and then we can go live and have a proper game where people can play all the way through. And I fear that when people get into normal speed game, there's going to be a giant outcry because
I
people
think
have had
so.
months and months of sped up servers, and all of a sudden it's going to be like, what the hell is this? So you never know. We might end up,
No,
making the game faster in general, just because it's a lot, more exciting.
personally, I want the slow server. I want to relax and watch my cities grow at a slow pace and kind of groom them as a gardener. You know?
I think as our target audience kind of likes the slower pace because you don't have to be on all the time because it does
Yeah.
take so long for things to go. And most of our player base is older, so they're not 15 years old and want the action packed, shoot games. Uh, and they work and things like that, so it makes it easier for uh, people not to be online all the time when it's slower.
Definitely.
But it would be fun to have a couple, dual servers where you can have a super speed server for those interested in playing those, and a regular speed server for everybody else, or maybe just have, one that pops up every once in a while, a super speed server,
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
just like castle servers used to
Special
pop up.
servers. Yeah.
So, but it'll make the second and third. I'm almost thinking that with the speed that people are gaining here, I mean, even in 24 hours, give or take, people have 3, 4 cities already, uh, which tells me that within a month, it's quite possible to get really close to filling up palaces, depending on how fast the shrines populate. And yes, Bloodheart does have a site that I have talked to him about, so we need to get him a media pack, and also gonna hook up some, API hookups so people can have, real feedback from the actual game and his site, which I think will be pretty cool.
Excellent.
So that's the kind of stuff that you can do when you're not a big development studio, and you can work with people to make cool tools that everybody will like using.
Definitely.
Very good.
So I finally got the pay system working, which was a pain in the ass.
What was the problem with it?
It was just in general the way that they went and changed their API
Oh,
without telling me that they changed their API, and so then I was
yeah.
asking them, why is this not working all of a sudden? And they were
Sure.
just saying, oh, it must be your fault. What are you doing wrong? And then it
Huh.
finally took like 6 people to find somebody who spoke English good enough to say, oh, yeah, we changed the API. You might want to look here. You just need to change this one line. I said, great, thank you.
Oh, Excel.
Oh dear.
But it did give me the idea that we're now going to split it off into a couple different things. So when you click the, buy Denary, instead of getting the Exala pop-up, you'll get a pop-up with like 3 or 4 different buttons. So you can go to PayPal, you can go to Amazon, or you can use Exala if you can't use one of those. That way, people who aren't confident in one can use another, and people can find the one that they like. And 3 of them is not too hard to implement and put in there. So that would give people enough options. And then also, if one of them goes down or one of them changes, then there's still the other 2 up for people to use. So always
that would be
have
great.
backup. But I certainly don't want to start processing our own credit cards, because that just opens up a whole bag of worms I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So much easier to outsource that to others.
Definitely.
And I think it was BBJ who's saying that she liked the fact that she could use her Subway gift cards, and I think it's pretty cool that you can get gift cards from places for things that you don't really want, and you can use them for in-game currency.
I mean, Subway? Who would have thought?
Subway, Circle K. Actually, I've looked at the stats, and we've had a couple people using some strange gift cards. We had a Sports Authority gift card used.
Oh, really?
A Circle K, 2 Subways. I think there was one for Outback Steakhouse.
Oh my god.
So
That's
they could have
hilarious.
just sent that to me, and I could have eaten, dinner. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, Ninja used CVS Pharmacy gift card.
Wow.
So I think that's a pretty cool option of that payment system, is that it's got so many different things you can use, and it's also good for people in strange countries like Finland.
Hey.
To have payment options that are useful to them as well.
Go ahead.
What?
Those
Oh,
third
okay.
world countries like
Um,
like England and Finland and
Finland is part of the EU.
Yeah, it is. We use the euro here.
Can nobody hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You don't count.
Oh. Did we lose everyone else?
No, I can hear myself on my computer. So
Oh,
wow,
okay.
I sound great.
Oh dear.
No comment.
Can you hear me?
I can,
Oh,
and somebody can hear us because they hear me saying Finland is awesome.
There you are,
I
Lisa. You
hear-
finally said it.
Sound is back.
I hear the stream
did.
is fine.
I blame 80.
Of course.
definitely.
It's always my fault. Always.
Do,
I've become this massive hacker that, I know more than everyone else. I can undo anything.
Yeah, you're the black cat.
One thing out of all of this that has surprised me is how, we can have things that we did ages ago that work great, and then all of a sudden, like, the code degrades and it just doesn't work anymore. And it's very interesting. I think a lot of times that's,
Like
we're
the
adding.
Alliance tab, the Alliance chat tab this week.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden the Alliance chat tab that you've never had a problem before and we never touch, all of a sudden has a giant issue.
Oh dear.
Yep. Yep,
What,
degrades itself.
What do you think about showing off the new temple graphic? Or should we keep it a
Yeah.
secret?
I think I'd like to see all 8 of them done first.
Okay. Then we will keep
Yeah.
it secret.
We can show it next week maybe.
You really think we're going to get all 7 done next week? You summer child.
I know.
I think so. I think
I like
Sergio draws fast.
Yeah.
It's not the doing that takes the time, though, sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It's getting the right, start point. And after that,
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody noticed that the windows were draggable. I haven't heard anybody say anything, but I thought that was such a great feature.
Oh, yeah, that's quite cool. I noticed that earlier and didn't say anything, but thought, oh, that's quite cool.
That was something that I had always missed in other games, was that you couldn't move the windows around.
Yeah, it is a lot nicer.
Ooh, but it stops before it goes over the toolbar. Clever.
Yeah, see, it gets kind of contained. But even if you expand it, then you can move it around even more. So if you want to, open up your command window, and for some reason I'm getting this non-stop loop of, are you sure you want to exit the game?
Oh dear.
Oh god.
That's strange.
I just close it and open it again when it does that to me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that closed the whole tab. I've had that a couple of times.
Man, I've never had that. Weird.
I've never had it either until right now. It must be Windows 8.
But I'm on Windows 8 and I've never gotten it.
Uh-oh.
Strange. Maybe it just hates you.
It could be that, except nobody hates me.
That's probably it.
Oh, that sounds like thunder.
Oh, are you getting the storm?
Did we lose Gordy?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
We'd have lost the call if we did, I think.
True.
The pop-up for a new alliance mate is not draggable. So you're talking about the
That's pop-up box
the
2.
pop-up. Okay,
We have 2 pop-ups.
I think that
One
one
for-
will probably say stagnant, or stagnant. Yeah. But yes, if you guys do lose me, it is because it is storming. So.
Cool.
The mail system should work pretty well. I think the only thing that doesn't work is the forwards.
It's just that it doesn't like copy the text of the previous message. So if you are hitting reply or hitting forward, it should still have the previous message in the window. But it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can fix that. That's pretty easy to fix.
It's on the bug list.
Yeah, the reason I put the moving around in is because since you can expand the side windows, it makes it so you can, open up the attack window, expand it out, and see the entire regional map, and then, move the attack window open and sit there and click on the different buildings and set up your attacks without, having it in the way. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
we're good.
Make sure
I was trying to
didn't
get the
lose
stream to load.
Yeah, the stream
Yeah.
isn't loading for me. I don't know. Damn thing.
Yeah, so I'm closing down various programs here and refreshing.
I'm gonna switch to a different browser. That's what I think the problem is for
We're all
me.
so well trained now, not to panic in these situations.
Ugh.
It's
Damn
surprises, it's not just us. There's just so much, complexity in internet applications these days that, it's not assured that everything's just going to work like it used to back in the day.
Yeah.
It's very, why can you click on the black around the city? I think pretty much any times you click anywhere besides for like a city square, it'll pop up your city wall just because it's looking for something to pop up. But I can certainly take a look at that and fix it. Although,
Well, and we also have the in the top left corner, above the little where it's still green. There's a little tile that's clickable, and it's your wall, and it has level 1 again, and it'll go up by levels again. That little tile's back.
I can
That little
certainly
tile
fix that.
keeps reappearing.
If you give me 2 seconds, guys, I'm going to stop this stream real quick and then restart it so I can get the game to load up properly.
Okie dokie.
Alright, and we were back. Sorry about that, guys. It's the game has a hard time loading when I'm streaming and hosting a Skype call at the same time. Goddamn computers can't keep up with all the stuff I want to do at the same time. But as I was saying before, the nice thing about the pop-up is, if you want to go into commands, um, you can just click commands here and then close it, and you can go through and slide it over so you have a full region view on the side, while you can set up your commands and still be able to see everything, which I thought was kind of cool. It's a lot better than having to close it and open it and close it and open it. And as far as the wall goes, I don't know if mine shows up as, oh, there it is. Well, at least I have it, so that means I can fix it. Actually, I know exactly why that is happening. So, cool, I will fix that on the next package.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's a weird square.
I kind of like it. It's got its own character. It doesn't give into conformity. Kind of stands out from the crowd.
Uh-huh.
It's a rebellious square.
Sure. So, will the wall level be displayed somewhere else then?
Yeah, when you click on it. Other than that, I can't think of a decent place to put the wall level that wouldn't confuse somebody.
Other games have had it at the meetings in between the walls. So 8 places. So the 4 meetings on the inner wall and the 4 meetings on the outer wall.
Yeah, you could do that, or right in that one spot, where my cursor is at the moment. But
Yeah.
it's somebody's gonna get confused. I think it's easy enough just to click, anywhere on the wall and get what level the wall is. I think it also shows somewhere on the bottom here. It just shows the percentage.
Fact really likes the box in the upper left.
Well, I will make sure that it stays on just for fact.
Awesome.
We will call it the fact box.
I think that would be really cool. We got the fact boss after all.
We do have the
That's
fact
true, we
bosses.
do. How many times can fact feature in the game?
Well, facts are facts. Looks like we've got a lot of people who are playing well. And really, we haven't had any major issues.
So I wonder something, and maybe the people who are listening to the Twitch can chime in on this. Now, obviously, this is closed in the sense that you have to have bought a key. It's pretty exclusive since the keys are $85 each. Yeah, in previous open alphas, we've had 400 plus people sign on. This is, a lot smaller. So, do you guys think that the people that are left out in the cold just watching the action, do you think they would like to get maybe an update every day or two on who's in the lead?
I was actually thinking we should add that to the front page. With the
That would be
little...
cool.
Yeah, like a leaderboard.
Yeah, just have a little leaderboard. So I can
Yeah.
do that. It's easy enough.
I can social media to the rankings too.
But
Every day.
I should be able to do it so that it just pulls the top 3 people at any given time and puts it straight onto the front page in a table.
That would be cool.
I like
way,
that.
Anytime it changes, people can see who's in the lead.
Yeah.
I'll probably put it where the beta is coming thing is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ala, if you'd like to make a table, I can make it do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Or Fact says attach the game chat to the website chat. That sounds complicated.
It's not as much complicated as it is when you're going to get one random idiot who comes in and just starts spamming the crap out of everything.
Mm.
And it's not that hard for somebody to do. Whereas, with the, having people need a beta key, it doesn't cluster up the chat as much as it would if, you wouldn't know who was in the beta and who wasn't, and things like that.
Right.
Uh, Let people into the beta as like an observer mode, so you can just kind of go around. Yeah, sounds a lot more work than I really want to do. I'd rather be focused. I'd rather be focused on implementing and fixing things than
Uh-huh.
actually working on some sort of ghost mode.
Long term, that might be nice, though. Like, if you have a server and you want to pop on to look at it, just limit somebody to 3-point city or something.
Yeah, but then you still have to put that city somewhere, so it
Yeah.
takes up a spot. And it might be a spot right in the middle of somebody else's spots.
That's true.
Um, so things like that are things you have to think about. If they're that interested, they can. It's only 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
by the time the second beta rolls around, there's going to be a considerable more amount of people on, because so many more people have second beta keys, and we're given second beta keys, and I think that when we start the alliance competition, people in alliances are going to really go after their old alliance members hard, so that they can fill up their alliances.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there'll be a considerably higher amount of people in the second beta. So 2 weeks wait isn't bad at all.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll probably have some sort of alpha something in between the first and the second as well.
Cool. Do you think that'll be a open alpha, or are you going to make people go through withdrawal?
It'd probably be an open. It depends. The game's starting to run smooth enough, so I'm not fixing things. And as long as I'm not fixing things, then I can start working on implementing new things.
Yay! Steeltown asks, will we have the mail system fixed and have forums for the second and third beta?
Yes. Those are part of the things that I'm talking about with implementation, fixing up alliances, because I know there's a lot of things with alliances that aren't perfect. And really, I did alliances so long ago that I'm surprised they work at all. But, because really, I made alliances, 4 or 5 months ago? And a lot of it I haven't touched
Really?
since then. So, the fact that they even work is great, but, they need to be cleaned up and things fixed. I did fix the booting and, leaving alliance things. So, just because I knew that might be an issue here. And a lot of other stuff, like the palace filling and things, or temple filling and things like that need to be done. The bonuses to the attacks and all that kind of stuff. So it's all stuff I need to do before the second beta.
Alliance forums will be for second beta too, right?
Should be. I think Alan needs to design those still.
No, they're designed. They're in the HTML.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Well, and I think Cordy needs to hook them up. I don't know what the hell that guy's doing.
Yeah, man.
What a slacker.
He just sits around and lounges all day.
Oh my god. Did you see how late he slept this morning?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
What about ally and map designations and special colors on the world map? Asks BBC. Crap.
Oh yeah, we could add that in.
Yeah, I think
Is it
that's, I still need to make world maps save your colors when you're done with them. Because right now when you get on the world map, it goes to base colors until you change them yourself. So I still need to do saving that. But world map's going to be something that, is a lower priority. Other games, which we will not mention, didn't even have a world map for like 3 years.
That's true.
So I think at its base functionality, it works good right now. We do need to add in special selectors and things, but I'd rather get the temples and all of the alliance cleaned up well before I start getting onto world map.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me, anyway.
Yep.
And the regional map's been working well, and it does the live updates. Not as fast as live exactly, but at least it updates without you having to refresh, which is good, and I think
yeah.
it's working well.
Maybe it's just me, but I actually really like the world map. The way that you've got the graphics appearing. I think it's slick.
Yeah, those are actually the same as a little flag. I actually draw those graphics with HTML5 canvas line points. So I actually say move line to here, or move line to there, or move line to here, fill, which is actually a lot harder than it looks like, or it sounds like. But like the same as the flag's just drawn into the canvas, and then once it's drawn, it just kind of moves around whenever you change cities.
I love the little flags. It's so dinky.
Mhm.
And that makes it
adorable.
easy to change the color to anything I want.
Yeah,
Back so
there's
it
a-
was for sure MS Paint.
So I do need to put that in where it changes the color of the flag.
it's in game options actually. If you open up game options, I put a little option there for you to. fill
Yeah,
in.
it just doesn't work. But other than that, you guys can change the color all you want.
As long as that color is blue.
Yes.
Yep.
As long as you change it to the color that it is currently, it will work perfectly.
Yeah.
You guys are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
So I don't know how much more we have to announce. Everybody's in the game, and it's working surprisingly well. I actually slept like 10 hours, which is like the first time in 3 years I've slept that much, and didn't wake up to some giant oh my god kind of thing. So
Yeah.
a few things
worked
needed to
pretty
be
good.
fixed with the raids, like the calculations. So I changed
And the-
those.
The plunder thing.
The plunder thing I fixed. So it's just little tweaks here and there now. Now it's just kind of display issues and things not showing up correctly, and little extra squares for walls.
Well, very cool.
Enlistment times and travel times not adding up quite right in some of the displays. But
Those should actually work now. That was one of the issues that I fixed. That was on the back end where the travel time
Okay.
was showing something wrong, and so was the return time. But when I fixed the back end, now they should be right.
sweet.
That
In
will-
enlistment window as well, at the bottom of the enlistment window.
Is that still not adding up correctly? That's a difficult one to do, so I'll play with it some more and make sure that it's working correctly.
Cool.
It's good.
Yes, we do need some kind of NAP and alliance declaration. I haven't decided yet on whether we're going to make it like an announcement in chat that says so-and-so alliance has declared war on this alliance. Because that's just, if you remember,
It's kind of fun. It's like Illy did it, and it was like really dramatic when one popped up.
yeah, at the same time, you have people making small alliances just to declare on everybody in spam chat and then disbanding.
Well, what's wrong with that? That's fun.
I try to avoid places where people can spam chat as much as possible.
If you made it an option where people can turn off those announcements if they want, then I think it's good to go.
Or that you can only have one war declaration a day or something.
Or if we go back to our original thing where we were going to make it so you had to be a certain rank to make an alliance.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That would also do it. I think that's a good idea, actually. Maybe lift that restriction the first day.
No, keep it, and whoever gets there the fastest can start making the alliance.
Seems fair. In fact, the plunder thing is fixed. It's cool.
Yeah, I fixed that earlier this morning. Yes.
Oh dear.
Oh, poor Gordy.
Sorry about that, guys. My house got hit by lightning, apparently.
Did it actually?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Wow.
which isn't new. That's why we have surge protectors.
Sure.
Phoebe irritating the man upstairs again. Being struck down by the heavens.
If the lightning hit me, it'd just make me stronger.
It absorbs the energy.
Like a super energizer.
Maybe you'll get superpowers.
More?
More superpowers.
Yes, thank you. So, I don't know where we were, but sorry we are back, guys. 80, I think you were asking a question. Something about how raids are working. I think I'm the only person on right now.
Hello.
Oh, you guys all hung up at the exact same time.
How rude.
Well,
I don't know why you guys would do that. It's just, it's very
I
inconsiderate.
think it's the raid question. Zeus doesn't like my raid question.
What was the raid question?
Can you explain how the raids are working and how people can send out the exact same amount of troops and get two different sets of loot?
Okay,
It's
so
based on the monsters.
raids are based on the monsters. There are two monsters for every raid. There is a weaker monster and a tougher monster. The tougher monster has a higher carry amount than the weaker monster. So they're the more of the second tougher monsters that there are, the less or the more loot that you will be able to carry home. So
Okay.
as the progression goes on, the numbers not only go up of both, but the mixture of both of them changes as well. So as
The
the
sound's gone again.
is it
Mm-hmm.
okay? So as the raids go up in progression, the amount of loot that you carry home will be higher. So you can hit the same dungeon 2 times in a row and get different loot. Also, there's an element of randomness in there. So there could be a difference even if it's at the same progression level. So you'll never really get the same exact loot every time you hit a dungeon, but it will always go up as the progression gets better.
Cool. Excellent. That's good to know.
And also, some people have been asking how they can send 300 of one troop and get the same amount of loot as if they send 100. The answer to that is that if the 100 troops could carry all of the loot from the dungeon, then they will get the exact same loot as the 300 troops. Because it's 10 times whatever you were going to carry home from the dungeon. So if you could carry home all of it, then you could carry home. You're not going to get any more if you send more troops. And that's the way it would be even if it wasn't 10 times.
That might be related to the percentage displaying wrong.
To the what percentage is displaying wrong? Oh, the carry
Yeah,
percentage?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's really no good way to fix that without going in there and changing it, because the carry percentage is supposed to be the amount of troops and the amount of loot that each troop can carry. So even if I did it, I guess I could do it. So maybe I'll do that for the next patch. And to Steel Towns, there's got to be a better system than rank, and I haven't come up with it yet, and that's why we haven't put that in there yet. And we are open to suggestions as to a better way to keep people from just coming on and making alliances and declaring on everybody and then deleting the alliance and making another one and declaring on everybody and just spamming chat for days and days and days straight, which,
Technically, they could do that with talking anyway, though.
technically they could, but you can ignore talking where you can't ignore system notifications unless you ignore all of them, and then you can't see the ones that you actually want to see.
Maybe you could choose to ignore all of them except for the top 5 alliances or something. We could have like tiers of what you want to ignore.
Yeah, and then that's just a lot more code that,
Yeah.
for one small piece of something that could be prevented by doing something simpler.
In Acarium, we had a lot of fun in that game, and I think Astro Empires is similar, where a lot of that sort of political activity occurred on the world-specific server forums, where the super moderators, which is to say myself, encouraged a bit of trolling and, posting patriotic propaganda images or whatever you wanted to do. And it was a lot of fun to have the records of the server that way too.
Okay, I'll explain
You
the
think we
raids
could have
again.
a forum?
We could do that for forums, but at the same time, I don't like. I personally am not a forum person, so I don't want to have to go to forums to see stuff like that. I prefer to have announcements in the game.
Empires forums were so popular.
Huh?
I think the only reason that the Astro Empires forum was so popular was because they didn't have an in-game chat. Literally, the forums was the only way that you could communicate with other players.
So I'm sure there's a good way, and we are open to suggestions. Like always, I do take everybody's suggestions into consideration, and try to make the game as playable as possible for everyone. So it's not something we're set in stone yet, but it's something that we're considering how to do it the best way. So any suggestions you have is great. And to repeat for Glassel about the raids, because I think I might have cut out halfway in there. The amount of monsters doesn't depend on the amount of TS that you send. The amount of monsters depends on the progression of the dungeon with a little bit of randomness in between. So it doesn't matter the amount of troops you send. It matters just kind of probability as well as the progression of the dungeon. So if the dungeon is, at 50%, you're going to get a lot more monsters in there than you would if the dungeon was, at 90%. And it doesn't matter the amount of troops that you send. The troops that you send does help to kill more bosses, and if you couldn't carry the amount of loot with the smaller amount of troops, then you'll get more loot that way. But if you could carry the amount of loot anyways without the 10 times bonus, then you're not going to see any difference between sending higher numbers of troops. Yeah, the 100% carry point was meant for normal kind of raids without the 10x bonus. So if we took the 10x bonus off, then the carry percents would work correctly. But since the 10x bonus is there, the carry percents just kind of bug out because you're literally carrying 10 times more than you actually could. So, that is something that I can fix. Okay, so there's 2 types of monsters in every dungeon. So there's a stronger monster, and then there's a weaker monster. Every dungeon has a weaker monster and a stronger monster. The stronger monster has a higher carry percent than the lower monsters. As progression goes up, you get more of the higher monsters and less of the lower monsters, but it's still less total monsters in general, but higher loot and higher difficulty. So does that make sense? I explained it best I could. So your percent of progression could go down, and it could look like you're getting less monsters, but really one monster is stronger than 5 of the other monsters, so you're actually going up in the amount of monsters you have.
Well, plus the random factor too. So it might be that like one time you get less than another just because of randomness.
Right. So there is some randomness in there. It's not a huge amount of randomness, but there is some just to make it so that it, you know, I'm not a big fan of stagnant numbers because they just look crappy. So, little bits of randomness here and there make the game kind of more realistic because if you were going to raid a dungeon, there's not going to be the exact same number of monsters in every dungeon you were raiding. There'd be depending on the dungeon you were raiding, there'd be different mixtures and different amounts of dungeons, to a minimal extent. Yeah, and just send me the reports and I'll take a look at it. I can take out some of the randomness. If that's really going to be a huge problem for people, I could make the randomness, a lot less, or I could just take it out completely, and then, people will have it as they have it. But, personally, I like a little bit of randomness just because it's, it makes the game a little bit more cryptic than just straightforward. If you hit it this percent, you get exactly this amount, which I know that the players like, but, I like to have a little bit of difference in there because it's fun, Also, it keeps you from being able to send a minimum amount of troops because the minimum amount of troops goes up depending on the percentage that you're actually bringing back in.
I was analyzing my dungeon raid reports this morning, and I saw progression in terms of the number of monsters overall. I mean, the random fluctuations were there, but the numbers went up overall. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something a little bit different, and I thought it was a good idea when I put it in, but it's just as easy to take back out if enough people have a problem with it. Like I've always said, it's everybody's game, and I'm not playing it, so I'll make it the way that the consensus wants it.
Unless the consensus is wrong. Damn it.
Yes, unless the consensus is something that I disagree with. Then I'll make it the way that I want it.
As it should be.
Because sometimes the consensus can be, wanting to make things easier where I know that if I made it easier, it would suck. More or less. Because if things get too easy, people get bored.
Oh, totally. A lot of people like, oh, we want, more res from dungeons, and we want to, attack easier and stuff like that. But they don't really.
No. It's a very intricate balance, to keep a fair game. Kind of like the butterfly effect. You mess with one little thing here, and, at the end of the server, all of a sudden, things are completely off balance than what they should be.
Right. I think one of the things we talked about that was particularly interesting in that regard was like the question of being able to restrict permissions for members to prevent spies from having a lot of access. But if you made it too easy to identify and isolate spies, that would take one of the elements out of the game, at least, I think,
Yeah, and also, that comes down to the multi-accounting. If you stop multi-accounting completely, then you don't have to worry about people making alternate accounts to spy. So if somebody's going to spy, they have to use their main account. So it kind of makes it more of a strategy because they're actually giving up their main account to spy than they are to just make an alt to put an alliance.
Something that someone had suggested a while ago now was that maybe alliance leaders could see who their members left subs to. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was suggested.
Who they what?
Who they left subs to.
Oh, that comes to kind of a privacy thing too.
Yeah.
If you want alliance members to have the power to see that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of fun in the game when you're trying to find spies. It's kind of a part of the game to have, who can I trust and who's feeding information, and kind of feeds into, how an actual war would be because you don't know who is actually, the traitor in the group.
Definitely, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's part of the game.
Hey, speaking of holiday subs, what are your plans in terms of developing that feature?
We really didn't need them for the first one. For the second one, I think it's something that I'll try to get in and get working.
Cool. That's one of my favorite features.
I think I probably want to do it a little bit different, where you can leave more than one person. And also, we had an idea in the beginning of this where if somebody was gone and they didn't leave a holiday sub, then some way to have the game send a single email saying so and so is looking for a holiday sub for your account. You've not logged in this many days. That way people can get a hold of Alliance members that they haven't heard from in a while.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
And even like a reply to this mail with yes if you want to give this person things. They don't even have to log on to give over their holiday sub.
That would be good.
Because you never know if
cool.
something happens in somebody somewhere where they can't really get on the game to give somebody their holiday sub, but they're able to get their emails on their phone or something. Which will go away once we get a phone app.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
very
you'll
good.
have no excuse, people.
Unless you're in the one corner of the world that didn't have good phone reception. That'd be good.
Like Finland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, I am not knocking your strings with cans network of phone communication. But little
But
things
surely,
like that we can add in and make the game better, because we have different features based on what the players want. And maybe that's an option you can set, where you set the yes allow my alliance leader to automatically get my sub if you're not logged in for 2 weeks or something.
totally.
Glassel
Glassel-
asks.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go. No, you go ahead.
Oh dear. So what are we gonna do about players that go inactive?
We are going to reset inactive
Lawless
players.
cities.
Yeah, we'll have all that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, lawless
What
and
is it called? Deserted cities or something. Alice has some new name for them.
yeah. So we are planning on doing that. Again, probably not something we'll have until like the third, beta, because that's something that needs to be tested quite a bit. Because you certainly don't want a bug where somebody logs in and then they haven't been on in 4 hours when it was supposed to be 4 weeks, and all of a sudden, oh, we abandoned everything for you. So that is something that needs a lot of testing. The 4 continents opening on start day, that's one of those things that I don't think I would change, because the C22 battles are generally very transformative to the game.
I agree, definitely.
And also, it's a lot of people's favorite parts of the game is that battle for C22, because it's the most, kind of intense
Yeah.
section of the game. So, the winner of C22 gets to stay. Everybody else kind of does a mass exodus. But, I think without that, the game would kind of be boring, because there wouldn't be that big fight right at the beginning.
I agree.
Yeah.
And generally, the person who wins C22 is normally, or not always, but often, very often, the person who ends up winning the server. So I think it's kind of indicative of what will happen for the server. So I would hate to see it gone.
But there is a big bonus to, winning C22 is that all of your starting cities get to castle and raid, while everybody else kind of has to start essentially over on a new continent.
Definitely can be a huge factor. And then there are some people that in the Lord of Ultima, their main starting strategy was avoiding 22. They would wait, a day or even 2 if necessary to start a server late, so they would get placed on like C32 or something.
Right, so it's, I think it's something that we'll always keep there. I do have a setup for it to open up continents randomly. and that's probably something that we'll start on the second beta. But for like something like this where it's an individual competition, I want to keep people on 22 as long as possible because it's score based. So I don't think it would be good to let people run off quickly and build up in some small little corner. So I kind of want you guys to fight over it. Well, the thing about moving off C22 is if you did a mass reset, you are essentially starting over just with your title. And,
That's what people used to do, though. People would play on C22, and then after the 7 days where you couldn't reset, that they would build up as many purified resources as possible, and then hit reset and land on the newest continent with a new city, and all of the stuff they had built up over the last 7 days.
I'm under the, impression that I think we should make a reset. So if you really want to reset your account, it's not like you get to start over and keep everything except for your cities. I think a reset should be kind of like how we're doing the, if you get your last city capped, you start completely over.
I agree.
So that will probably prevent the moving off of C22. So if you do a reset, your account will just be completely deleted. And when you restart back up, you'll be a brand new player somewhere.
Excellent.
Well, people could still just do it normally the way they should, and build a port and shipyard or whatever port, and physically send a senator over to a different continent.
Yeah, and there's so many people that rage quit, halfway through a server and then come back and say, "Oh, I didn't mean it." If you're going to do something like that, you should reset completely. A reset is a reset.
But if you only had like one non-castle city, then you can keep going, and no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloodheart has a feature request: a voice counselor. Choose from Alla, Addie, or Alice, or myself.
Hey, all right, can we do a test of somebody saying "danger, danger"?
Danger, danger.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Carts cannot swim.
Alice.
That's what we should do. Alice has the English
Record
accent.
everything in Alice's voice.
Alice has the English accent. We're gonna have little things every time there's an error message. Alice comes on and says it in her English accent.
Sarcastic
alright with that.
English accent. Yeah, definitely.
Can you say,
Can I-
"Stop
can I
hitting
say it with
yourself"?
an accent that sounds makes it sound that you're a little bit stupid for.
Well, you're the voiceover person. Say it however you like.
Danger, danger. Are you retarded? What are you doing? Stop.
What sort of GLaDOS style?
If you leave an alliance for good reasons, you are usually surrounded, so you either reset or lose all your castles. Yeah, well, that's kind of part of leaving the alliance.
The difference would be that instead of resetting or losing all your castles, you lose all your castles, sure, but you could keep all of your cities. If you didn't want to keep them, you could abandon all of them except one and relocate somewhere else.
Yeah, and you could abandon all of your cities and do the same thing, although I think we'll have a cap on the amount of cities you can abandon a day.
Yeah, but I mean, if you castle all of them and you're surrounded by enemies, I think they'll get taken off you pretty quickly anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so there's another way to get around the, abandonment cap is you just castle them and attack somebody with a troop.
Yeah, no problem. You've never had an alliance leader go postal.
I have.
No, I've never had an alliance leader go postal.
I
Well-
haven't either, but we have seen it, so we do understand what you're saying. But that's where you castle everything that's on that island and
Just
send some cities elsewhere and start over. That way, you keep your refined res.
But
It's
also,
not a complete reset.
it's not, completely it is kind of your responsibility to make sure that the alliance you're in does not have any leader that you think could go postal. And if he does, if it's somebody who said, man, this guy's a little sketchy, or this girl's a little sketchy, then you can say, I'm not going to build all of my castles right next to everybody else's. I'm going to castle over here. So, that's a judgment thing as well.
I wish there was some way that, like, we had a reputation system for leaders. Like, after some dude has completely failed on several alliances or something, that he'd just carry like a badge of shame with him forever.
Well, like rankyourallianceleader.com.
Yeah, that's it. RateYourAllianceLeader.com.
Maybe that's something. Maybe that's a good idea for Bloodheart to add to his site. Rank my alliance leader.
Yeah, Bloodheart, do it.
That would be awesome.
If the alliance leader goes AWOL, that is something that we could. I think we had talked about it as well, hadn't we, Ala? About if your alliance leader went AWOL, you could, after a certain amount of time, the second leader gets the option to move up to first leader or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the officer, the next person down, but it would have to be somebody who didn't log on for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe shorten the time as the server progressed, so maybe it starts off at a month.
I reckon, I don't know, like a week was the amount of time that it took to go red. I think a week would be fine.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't log on for a week,
Yeah, it's on them.
then it gives their officers or second leaders, or you could just make it so it goes down the list, and if there's not a second leader and there's not officers, then the person who's the highest rank, who's been there the longest, automatically gets it.
Exactly.
So yeah, we definitely had talked about putting something like that in there. Because I have had that before, where
Yeah, we
your
did.
leader just goes AWOL and you're kind of slightly stuck.
I did run into that on my first server, or my original alliance. The leader just kind of vanished, so we all left and made our own.
That is excluding holiday subs. So if they left a holiday sub, and that holiday sub has logged on their account, then that would mean that they actually logged in. Or maybe we just make it so if they leave a holiday sub and the holiday sub hasn't logged on for 3 weeks instead of 1 week, then it changes the position. But I'm sure that we can think of a good way to do it so that people aren't kind of stuck. I think I might have fixed it. Whatever Glass is talking about. And I do think we lost Ala and Alice, both Europeans. Score 1 for America.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yep.
To me, you're breaking up real bad, Gordy.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
well, that's not good.
I blame your interesting weather.
That could be it, but I don't hear the thunder anymore, so. The better question is who has sat at their computer clicking nonstop waiting for a castle that has gone lawless to be available for retaking?
Me.
Yes.
I Eleanor's can vouch for that.
Make alliance friendships. I would imagine that if you what alliance ranks do we have? Because I think we have a allies. I think if we had allies, we would make it so that you can't attack your allies.
Yeah.
So
Although, well, no, because I mean, in other games, you have actually been able to like attack your own alliance members and everything. So it makes no sense that you would be able to attack your own alliance members, but not an allied alliance.
well, how about we? Because we don't have that tick box yet, so we need to make that tick box, and we can make it so that the tick box works the same for allied alliances, and not for uh, other alliances.
Sounds good.
You guys
What-
take
what I
over
would
for me
like-
for 2 seconds.
Sure. When I was actually in the Carium, they had a nap, a neutral, don't attack thing. And in that, if you attacked somebody that you from an alliance that you had a nap with, it would generate a message to the alliance leader that there was an attack, and that
Ooh,
way
I
the
like
alliance leader knew about it. But it didn't prevent you from doing it. It would pop up a warning, or you have a nap with this. Are you sure you want to do it? And then you say yeah, and then the alliance leader got a copy of the report, basically.
Cool. Okay, that's something to think about.
Yeah. Now, Icarium didn't have. It was a really crappy game. It's still going actually. In combat, in Icarium was basically limited to plundering and occupying, which was something we don't have, but where you would basically sort of capture somebody's city, but they would still own it. It's just that you had, as long as you had troops in it, you would be able to control it. But they could try to
Oh,
kick you
okay.
out and take it back, yeah. So,
So
it
kind
wasn't
of like sieging, sort of,
sort of, but like they couldn't
without an
destroy
end.
anything. Right. They couldn't destroy anything, and they couldn't really take over your city long term.
Oh, I think Astro Empires had that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So combat in that game was like, so the game was all about diplomacy and politics because there wasn't really that much to actual combat, you know?
Yeah.
I think we had talked about having a chat tab where you could add sister alliances, but didn't Gordy
think-
say something about it would be really hard on the servers?
I think he talked about it being a third-party bot.
We did have a third party bot that did that on the Battle Lord server. It forwarded our chat from our main alliance and our two sister alliances so that we had perfect communication between all 300 people. And it also
Yeah.
allowed like
imagine.
report sharing and all kinds of cool stuff.
Sorry, I'm back. My dog freaked out and went through a window to get back inside.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Oh.
Through a,
Is,
this-
is the dog okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh jeez.
is the window okay?
It was actually like had one of those little small air conditioner units.
Oh.
And so, like, somehow he fit himself. I mean, and he's a bigger dog through like a 1 foot by 1.5 foot opening.
Wow.
Good dog.
So, but he is okay, surprisingly.
Okay.
Jeez.
So sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
Welcome back.
What were we talking about? Oh, I don't remember.
Sister Alliance chat.
Yeah, Gordy, are we planning on having like a multi-alliance channel, or is it just going to be like a third-party bot?
We could do a third party, it's like a third kind of shared alliance window, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm back.
So we could do that. In the future, not something that we plan on doing like during the betas or anything, but I mean that's not going to be that hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Great. You wouldn't want to necessarily make it too easy to run sister alliances.
No, but at the same time, anything that we can do to make kind of, things easier.
Yeah. Oh, Glassel says what I loved is the user-created channel. You could make a quick channel for secret talk outside the alliance, like, /C4222 or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not something I'm going to do.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think we have reached our time limit, and I do have a window to go patch up.
Oh dear.
Uh,
Yeah, just little glitches and bugs to attend to.
I've but the game's running well, so it's I don't think we have anything that's imperative at the moment. But there are little things here and there we need to fix, and also I need to get into start implementing stuff for the second beta. So definitely got a lot of work to do,
Awesome.
like always. So
Okay.
thank you guys for tuning into the stream, and hope you enjoy the betas. If you're not in this first beta, then I hope you enjoy the second beta. But we will continue, working and making the game better, so that it gets where it needs to be, so that we can progress on.
And thank you everyone who contributed $85 to that first beta team. The money that we got through Kickstarter and through your pledges has been super critical to getting to where we are, and to going beyond that. So thank you guys.
Yeah, we
Yeah, thank you
certainly
guys so
couldn't
much.
have done it without, not just the donations, but also the time that a lot of you guys spent, helping us do the testing and
Debugs.
getting the bugs out, and the patience and things like that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Couldn't have done
definitely.
it without you guys.
I think it's kind of unique in the gaming world to kind of have that, built and tested by players. I'm not sure that a lot of people do alpha testing with the player base. So, anyways, you guys, thank you very much, and we will see you in the game. And next week for our next stream.
See you in the
Yay.
game, you guys. Thank
All
you
right.
for joining.
Good luck, everyone.
Later.